Hello and welcome to this LLM Masters of Law Programs at Leicester Law School presentation by myself, Dr. Ed Bates, alongside Dr. Satwant Kaur. We are co-directors of the LLM program. Thank you for listening. So across this short presentation, I want to say a few words about the university, a few words about Leicester Law School, focus mainly on the LLM program itself and the various specialisms within it, and then conclude by saying a few words about support that you can expect in the law school and about Leicester itself as a city. Starting then with some words about the university itself, its global and national reputation. As you can see from what's on screen here, the university occupies an enviable position in UK and international league tables. For example, top 10 in UK student experience, according to the Times and the Sunday Times Good University Guide and the Daily Mail University Guide of 2026. Also, 5th in the UK for research quality, the university, according to the Times Higher Education World University Rankings 2026, and much more besides, as you see on screen. Coming now to Leicester Law School and what it's like to study with us. The law school is one of the largest UK law schools. There are approximately 1,700 students here and around 90 academic staff. We are a really culturally diverse student community. And we have a strongly supportive community of academic experts in and outside the classroom. We have close ties to legal and business communities, both locally and globally. The large LLM community here within the law school studies a wide variety of specialisms, which I'll be coming to in a moment. As regards research conducted within the law school, the expertise of our leading academics has been recognised continually in the context of the National Research Excellence Framework for its world-leading and internationally excellent standards. Some of that research is conducted within the context of the centres within the law school and the research clusters and other networks that it hosts. So were you to be studying on an LLM at Leicester, you would have opportunities to attend the various research seminars hosted by the institutions mentioned on screen, such as the Centre for European Law and Internationalisation, the Centre for Rights and Equality in Health Law, and the research clusters also mentioned there. Furthermore, the law school is home to the Global South Network, which you may see further details about within the law school website. Of course, that focuses especially on Global South issues and the law. Last but not least, you'd also find details of the Legal Advice Clinic on our website, which we encourage you to have a look at. Studying on the LLM, as with other students at Leicester, you have an opportunity to become involved with the practical work of that legal advice clinic, which is very good for enhancing CVs and gaining some practical work experience in local areas of law. Now to the various LLM specialisms or streams, what you might study here doing an LLM. In the remainder of the presentation, I'm mainly going to focus on numbers 1 to 6 as mentioned here. But as you'll see, there's also a Space and Society MA at the University of Leicester, of which the law school plays a major contributing part. So that may be of interest to you. Again, do look at our law school and the university's website if you're interested in that, and you'll also see the various international space law modules that feed into that programme. And then briefly just mentioning 7 and 8 as mentioned on screen here. As you can see from the slide, we've got some additional recordings on those. So if they're of particular interest to you, jump to those recordings where you'll find out much more detail about the health law LLM and the employment law distance learning LLM than I'm going to be able to say now, even if I do say a few words about the health law LLM in a minute or two. So I mainly focus now on the items 1 through to 6 mentioned here, starting with the Masters of Law LLM. That's one of the 8 program streams that you can select, and it's the most flexible. What I mean by that is there are over 30 or so different LLM modules taught within the LLM program at Leicester. In effect, number 1 listed here, the Masters of Law kind of general LLM, allows you to choose from almost all of those LLM options and so tailor-make the degree to how you would want to have it. So the general LLM is ideal if you're looking for a broad selection of law modules that allow you to create your own portfolio of topics to suit your own particular interests or needs. In effect, you can customize your course by choosing from almost the entire range of modules taught by our leading academics. So that's the General Masters of Law LLM. However, it may well be that for career purposes or for other reasons, you want a degree title with a more specialised focus on it, such as those mentioned numbers 2 through to 6 here. In terms of how that works, well, in order to get the LLM degree, say, in international human rights law, you are required to study options from the range of modules that we have offered in that field. So it's more selective and, of course, more focused. The same applies to the international commercial law LLM, for example. For that, you would have to study from the range of options and modules that are offered in that field in order to then obtain the degree in LLM, international commercial law. Have a look at our website to see the full spectrum of modules that are available within the context of each specialised LLM program. Let me now say a few words about each of these streams or specialisms in turn. And I'm not particularly following the order on screen on the previous screen. So I'll start with public international law, the LLM in public international law. The programme covers a whole range of issues to do with the study of public international law, such as the law related to statehood, or the law related to the international use of force and international responsibility, international humanitarian law, and the various dispute resolution principles that apply on the international plane. Across this LLM, as with other international LLMs, students analyse how legal norms address matters in this context, such as armed conflict or environmental protection, and various international cooperation challenges. The emphasis is on framework provisions such as treaties, customary international law, and the institutions of the international legal order, which uphold that international order and strive for its legal enforcement. We give you an indication on screen here, just an indication of the types of issues explored on this LLM program, or LLM stream, Public International Law. It's just illustrative, I do want to stress. In terms of career preparation, this LLM helps prepare graduates for careers, say, in relation to international courts or diplomacy or intergovernmental roles, as well as academic research, of course. Have a look at our website for further details on the LLM in public international law, in particular which modules are covered within that LLM stream. Okay, slightly different now is the LLM in international law. This LLM covers public and private international law, emphasising treaty law, jurisdiction and dispute resolution, amongst other things. So of the variety of areas that can be focused on here, students look to matters such as global security, studies relating to environmental law and trade law, or international governance law, according to their interests and, of course, the modules they select within this. Graduates are prepared for careers in diplomacy, advocacy, corporate law, depending on the modules you've chosen, and policy roles in global governance. As with all LLM streams, the program helps develop your skills in interpreting legal instruments, especially international legal instruments, and evaluating international legal decisions. Once again, on screen are some examples, just examples, of the issues explored across this module. But there's much more to it if you have a look, again, at the website, our LLM website within the Leicester Law School website. The next stream I look to is focused on human rights, the LLM in international human rights law. As you will appreciate, this program focuses on global human rights law, its theoretical foundations and enforcement mechanisms. Institutions like the United Nations and regional courts are a focal point of study and how they protect human rights. In terms of substantive topics, there can be a focus, depending on the module selected, on migration or discrimination, or specialist subjects such as freedom of expression and socio and economic rights, amongst other things. So again, we have examples on screen of the types of areas that can be explored across this module. There's a whole spectrum of areas, and again, much depends on the specific modules you elect to follow within the context of the range of modules available under this LLM. As before, the program develops research skills, policy analysis, and reflective thinking for careers similar to those that I've already mentioned, but of course with a human rights focus. So that's especially careers in advocacy and the law, and in international institutions, for example. Regarding the LLM healthcare law, as I've mentioned previously, there's a separate recording on this, like the one on employment law as distant learning, so do jump to that if you're particularly interested in either of those two, and I'll be very brief here on health law. The programme explores complex legal, ethical and moral dilemmas in modern healthcare systems. Students learn how legal frameworks influence healthcare policy and regulation at multiple levels. The curriculum addresses, in certain contexts at least, disparities in healthcare access and delivery across diverse populations, depending on which modules, of course, you choose to follow. Once again, there's some example areas on screen of the types of topics that could be explored in the given modules. The stream prepares students for careers in health policy, advocacy, law practice, and academic research, amongst other things. I have two further LLM streams to speak briefly about, the penultimate one for which is the LLM in International Commercial Law. Again, as its title suggests, the focus here is on international commercial law. So the LLM covers, depending on the modules you elect to follow, international sales, arbitration, competition law, and commercial dispute resolution. The programme emphasises legal harmonisation and cross-border enforcement in global commerce as a theme across it. Students explore evolving laws for digital markets and international supply chains, depending on the modules you elect to follow. Once again, on screen, some just quick illustrations of the issues that could be explored across this module, and as before, do look at our website to see the much more details of the modules within this LLM and the types of issues to be studied and focused upon. Speaking at a general level, the career preparation that this LLM foresees is in terms of analytical skills for work in multinational firms or trade organisations and advisory roles in relation to that. But that's just an example. There are many, many other areas too. Last but certainly not least, the LLM in International Business and Corporate Law. That's a programme that covers core legal principles governing international business transactions and corporate governance. Students study multinational corporate structures, cross-border mergers, international finance and corporate accountability dependent on the modules that you elect to follow within the International Business and Corporate Law LLM. Having done so, the curriculum across this LLM builds skills in relation to regulatory compliance or risk analysis and in terms of advising businesses across jurisdictions. So graduates are prepared or help to be prepared for roles in corporate practice, consultancy, policy making, and advisory roles across trade and finance sectors, amongst other things. So that was an overview of the various LLM streams. Now a few words about the personalised support that you would get studying on the LLM. Now the dissertation is a major part of the LLM, a specialist research project conducted over the last few months of the year-long degree. In relation to that research project, you will have a supervisor to guide you through it and provide you feedback on your ongoing research until the completion of that project. It's a really exciting part of the degree in which you get to choose the project to focus upon, but under the supervision of an expert within the law school. More generally, across the degree, you will have a dedicated personal tutor to support you in terms of your academic journey as an LLM student at Leicester Law School. And you will receive detailed written feedback on the assignments and assessments that you submit, with opportunities for individual feedback appointments with the marker of that assignment. More generally, the university hosts centres such as the Centre for Academic Achievement to help you succeed in your studies, and there are wellbeing and other support services that can also help you if there are unexpected concerns arising over the course of your studies. In terms of career support, have a look at what's mentioned on screen here. The university generally has a strong career support office, and in the context of the law school, the Careers and Professional Development Programme provided by the law school offers diverse career support, providing guidance and events relating to legal practice as well as legal research. So we very strongly always encourage our LLM students to engage with this. And at the bottom of the slide, I start to refer again at the various skill sets that LLM students gain by conducting their LLM and engaging with the course. At the risk of a little repetition, that's what I cover on this slide too, so I can be very relatively brief and give you the opportunity to pause the slide to read what's said there. But as you'll see, I'm essentially highlighting key transferable skills that LLM students can expect to gain when they engage with the course, and the various careers, opportunities and destinations that successful students on the course can hope to pursue. The references at the bottom to working confidently with treaties, international case law, etc., of course, primarily are focusing on those LLM programs which have an international dimension and so apply less to the programs in health law and employment law, for example, which have their own particular focuses in terms of the work. A penultimate slide here on what it's like living in Leicester. It's a city located right in the heart of the UK, so it's absolutely ideal for exploring the rest of the UK when you get some time off. The city itself is internationally renowned as a diverse and inclusive city. It hosts many, many cultural and religious celebrations, for example, those mentioned on screen. There are a great number of independent coffee shops, restaurants and the likes, bars and shops and cinemas for you to enjoy when you have some downtime. Likewise, there are plenty of sports teams in Leicester, such as those mentioned on screen. Food festivals as well. And finally, let me mention that the city is just an hour away from London, so that's easy to get to, say, at weekends. And of course, we're very close to major cities such as Birmingham. Okay, so the final slide, next steps. Please do contact us. There's an email address for you to do so if you have any specific questions about the LLM program, and we'll try to get back to you just as soon as possible. But of course, do please search LLM on our website and look in detail much more at the various program and the offerings within them in terms of the modules that you could be pursuing. Finally, then, it just remains for me to say on my own behalf, Dr. Ed Bates, and also on behalf of Dr. Satwant Kaur, we're co-directors of the LLM program, to wish you every success with your plans for further study and the applications you make, and we very much hope to see you at Leicester in the near future. Thank you very much and good luck.